Hey, what's up, Lightbolt Joe here. Today we are going to discuss season 1 of the CBS show Ghosts. This is a direct remake of the 2019 BBC show Ghosts of the same name, same concept. That is on HBO Max as of right now. Ghosts, the CBS version, has been streaming on Paramount Plus, but it was, week to week kind of a thing from September 2021, if I remember. There's 18 episodes of season 1. We were all very worried for quite some time if it was going to get picked up again, but it was, because it's so smart. I don't ever talk about individual seasons of a sitcom, technically. I do normally like individual seasons of like full shows. How do I explain it? Movie-like shows, like Teen Wolf. We've been doing Teen Wolf reviews, right? We've talked about the 2 Avatar shows, right? Like full plot pointed, not like week to week. You could just watch it and not really pay attention to the past stuff, like full like plot pointed stuff. Okay, I had to break protocol, if you will. This show is incredible. I need to see the BBC version because I definitely want to compare them. But the American version that we have, the 18 episodes on CBS, Rose McIver plays this character of Sam, and Utkarsh Ambikor plays the character of Jay, husband and wife duo. Brilliant. So they live in Manhattan. She's looking into journalism. Jay's a cook. Is that his original job? We never really go into it afterwards. She inherits a house from a relative who just died, upstate New York, in the Hudson Valley. A very old house, very old property. Huge house. So they live there. Rose's character of Sam has the idea of making it into a bed and breakfast, so they start doing work. But there's ghosts that live there, and there's ghosts from different time periods, and they have different, means of interacting with each other. But it's not. They don't all cross over. Some of them cross over. Some of them stay attached to this property in a purgatory state. Sam, inadvertently, because of this ghost Trevor, who doesn't have any pants, he inadvertently pushes a vase over. Sam steps on the vase, falls down the stairs, hits her head, wakes up after a coma, and can see now the ghosts in the house. So she's dealing with the fact that they are living with ghosts on the different parts of the property. There's revolutionary ghosts in the shed, there's cholera ghosts in the basement, and then there's the main ghosts that live throughout the, first, second, third floor of the house. How does this work, right? How does this work? You have Thor the Viking, you have Sass the Native American, you have Isaac, who's a Revolutionary War soldier. You have Hetty, who is Sam's great aunt or grandmother, something like that, right? An actual blood relation. There's Flower, who's a hippie from the 60s. She was attacked by a bear. There's Pete, who's a camp counselor from the 80s. He gets shot in the neck with an arrow. Trevor doesn't have pants. We went through that. He's from the 2000s. Who else am I missing? The opera singer, whose name is just escaping my mind. Not opera singer, the jazz singer. Incredible. Absolutely incredible show to have all these different ghosts represented from different time periods mixing in together, right? And it's not just, shenanigans here and there. It's actual conversation. It's plot development. It's bettering themselves. And the last episode, just in fact, like, Thor reveals that he inadvertently put a curse on, Jay and Sam to never open this bed and breakfast, so that way nothing changes. But that's why all these bad things are happening. And then he tells them of this secret concoction that they could boil a pound of sugar and, a teaspoon of cinnamon in a thing of water, and then the curse would be reversed. But the question is, would the curse then take away Rose's character of Sam's ability to see and talk to the ghosts, or would it just reverse the curse that Thor put on? So they didn't want to take the chance. But they're all going around saying their goodbyes and saying, thank you so much for helping our afterlife be a better afterlife. And it's just such an interesting concept. What if, because like, you have a house, right? You live on a property, you have a house, or wherever you may live. What was on the property prior to you being there, right? Could a ghost from a different time period, from many different time periods, be on the same property, have died on the same property? Yes, it's possible. So what would happen if those different ghosts from those different time periods interacted? How would they talk? How would they communicate? How would they go over things? Having Pete and Trevor having to explain Ghostbusters to some of the older ones, hysterical. Thor's been there the longest. He's been there for over 1,000 years. So like he's clearly seen things change. Sass has been there since the 1500s. Like he's seen things change. It's just so cool seeing the different ghost abilities, having the different mythology. Why are they only in the clothes that they died in, or lack thereof, in Trevor's case? Crash, the headless ghost, he walks around without a head all the time. Why? We don't really get his backstory yet, but like we get certain backstories on how certain characters died, what led them to the property, all these different things. There's an attic ghost, teenager in the 80s, got attacked by a killer in a chainsaw. She wakes up once a year because she's a teenager. It's so smart. It's so smartly interwoven with the different time periods and the different dimensional aspect of an afterlife, heaven and hell versus a purgatory, and what happens next or what doesn't happen next. What happens when you cross over or sucked off, as it's referenced many a times, because they're just brought off, whisked away, or down in Hetty's case, where she condemns her previous husband to hell, and he sucks into the floor, and then everybody just freaks the freak out. Bruh, there's so many hysterical moments in this show, but so many real emotional moments in this show. Very deep moments, talking about life, talking about death, talking about acceptance, talking about regret, talking about Isaac, for instance. You know, he's gay, and he's trying to accept the fact that he likes this, you know, fellow revolutionary soldier who lives in the shed. But will he be accepted by his fellow ghosts, or things like that? Questioning. You can question in death. It's just such a great concept, having the interwoven dimensions come together, and we all learn stuff from different time periods, and it's just wonderful. It's wonderful. It breaks a barrier because it starts a conversation. What if? What if a Native American, a Viking, a jazz singer from the 20s, a camp counselor from the 80s, a socialite from the 1800s, what if they all got together? What kind of conversation would that be? And we see it play out. We see the ghosts freak out over pepperoni pizza, or Alexa being able to play music, or the TV, that they always need to have the TV on when Sam and Jay aren't in the house. It's so smart, it's so funny, it's so fresh, it's so new. As far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen the 2019 BBC's version of Ghosts. I'm very excited to see that. See the comparison. I know there's some characters are the same, and I know the plot points are still the same, but I'm curious of like what else, because if this is a BBC version, what would those ghosts in those property at that time period be, of those time periods would be. I'm so excited. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't normally talk about an 18 episode sitcom that is a week to week kind of a thing on your, you know, local broadcast network. I never do that. So for something to break me out of my norm of talking about certain things, when we have conversations and discussions about certain projects, which we do a lot every day, this is special. This is something. This is something that should not be forgotten. This is something that everybody should watch, because it's definitely a learning experience. It's a questioning experience. What happens next, or what doesn't happen next? Love it. Get you thinking. The theories are endless. Endless possibilities with the different ghost laws. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Give it a watch. Ghosts Season 1, streaming on Paramount Plus right now. Mucho mahalo.